In the last 3 years, I believe that some of previous speakers here were saying something about Serbia, and there are a few facts. Serbia didn't open any single chapter, any single cluster in the last 3.5 years. It very much coincides with the fact that at that time war in Ukraine started. And we were the only country that did not impose sanctions against Russia, although we have always been very supportive to territorial integrity of Ukraine, to UN Charter, to UN resolutions, and we have always been condemning an incursion and everything that was going on Ukrainian territory, but it was not enough. It became, as some of your previous guests were saying, more a sort of geopolitical game than a merit-based process, but that's how it goes. We have to face it. And at the same time, I believe that we'll have to consider all the remarks, all the demands from the European Union. We need to change the level of our enthusiasm, the level of our energy, to understand what we were doing in a wrong way and to go much faster. Just to say a few words to your people here. When you say Serbia, it means, comparing to Western Balkans, it is almost 55% of overall Western Balkans export to EU. Serbia is, regarding that issue, bigger than all the others altogether. Speaking about FDI attraction, last 3 years, Serbia was more than 60% of overall in attracting foreign direct investments than all the others in the Western Balkans, much bigger. And at the same time, yes, I know that we are facing thousands of doubts from different member states because of our relationship with Beijing, with Moscow. I cannot, and I'm not going to justify myself for talking with someone. I think it's really stupid, and I'm not a pupil in an elementary school, to tell you the truth. I believe that everybody should talk to each other, and I think it's very healing, and it doesn't mean that I agree with someone if I speak to someone. And what was very strange to me, because I heard the words of criticism and I accept it, I'm the culprit, from Marta Kos. Well, it was not just that he went to Moscow. I had plenty of reasons to go there. I had to do something with the gas arrangement. I had to discuss oil industry of Serbia, which was sanctioned at that time by United States of America. And they are an owners of our oil industry of Serbia. I had several issues to discuss it. What was the alternative to that? But no one actually from Europe asked me. Yes, Costa and Ursula asked me, but not the others. What was the content of our meeting? What we discussed? Because I was not interfering into Ukrainian or meddling into Ukrainian-Russian conflict, because I'm a small guy coming from a small country. I don't give a chance to myself to interfere into something big that either big countries, either European Union deserves to do so. I don't do it. I was discussing my small issues, which are big issues for my people, for Serbian people. And that was my intention. But at the end, I would like to see, if I may say this here, because I was always a big fan of that rule, audiatur et altera pars, hear the other side or listen to the other side as well. I would like to see all the leaders speaking to each other. That's the only way to overcome today's situation. But I know that nobody likes to hear it, because I see that everybody is smiling and laughing and joking when we say something bad about the others. I'm not going to make jokes about US, China, Russia. I think it's too serious to make any kind of jokes. I believe that we need talks. It's different. When I speak to Southerners, there is much bigger support. I'm going to meet President Macron in a few days. Again, I believe that we have had so far French support, Italian support. I was meeting Giorgia Meloni several times in the last 12 months. It's pretty much the same with Spaniards, Portuguese, Greek, and the others. It's a bit different when we go to Benelux countries, and it's a bit different when we speak to Baltic countries and Scandinavian countries. We'll have German Minister of Foreign Affairs very soon in Belgrade in a few days. I have spoken recently to Chancellor Merz. We had some good talks, and I hope that we'll be able to hosting him soon in Belgrade, which means January, February next year. I'm not a witty person at all. I believe that I'm, at least from time to time, too serious and very responsible. Yes, I cannot overcome this type of jitters, never ever. And I do a lot of preparations. And I was doing a lot of preparations last night for my meeting with Antonio Costa, and I do my best to analyze, to scrutinize everything, to learn by heart what is necessary, and I'm not ashamed to say this. And from time to time I act as a student, because I believe that I should be well prepared and at least not to be surprised in any kind of discussion I might have. And this is not going to be changed, and I believe in speaking to Chinese president. It's a great opportunity for the leader, small guy from a very proud country that might deliver messages that he needs. And it's the same when I speak to Ursula, it's the same when I speak to Antonio. I know them, and I met them more times than I was meeting President Xi, but that's how it goes. We are not an EU member state. I cannot do anything on this. I cannot influence it.
But
I can tell you,
no, I would support them once you're in the EU.
Tell you, but we are not a member of EU. But we were not. Nobody asked us about anything. They just tell us you have to align with it. And I can tell you one thing. We were under sanctions for many years. And it actually harmed ordinary people. It has always been the case. And it did not bring the very best result. And I have some doubts about the outcome of huge sanction packages that were imposed against Russia in the last 3.5 or 4 years, whatever. And but we had no influence on that. Speaking about Ukrainian territorial integrity, it means that we observe UN Charter, UN resolutions, and all the values of international public law. That's how it goes. That's the way we protect our territorial integrity. And also it's easy to rebuke, it's easy to scold small countries like Serbia, which are not members of the club. Because you have a usual suspect, you have always a good culprit for everything. And even Commissioner was saying, it's not fair, it's not good, it's not nice if he goes to Moscow. Had to go, had to take care of vital issues for my people and for my country. That was of an utmost, of super interest of my people and of my country. But I didn't hear that she was mentioning, or anybody else was mentioning, many other European leaders. And I'm not speaking about Viktor Orban. Many other European leaders that were speaking to Putin in the meantime. And I went there after 3 years of war, not before that, and I wanted to discuss our bilateral issues. Did not interfere into this big war agenda, big issues, because I know my place, I know the place of my country. And I think it's a very fair response. And as you can see, I say what I think to you here, I say the same in my country, I say it everywhere. We were discussing that 5 years ago. We were discussing that 5 and 4 and 3 years ago.
Right, but
and I was saying to them, the following. Here's the story. We are able to produce, let's say, 155 to 160,000 of different type of shells. Mortar shells, 60 millimeters, 80, 81, 82 millimeters, both Soviet NATO calibers, 120 millimeters, from all howitzer shells, 155, 152, tank, rocket artillery shells, 122, 128, whatever millimeters, which is still equal or a bit more than France. And I said to them, we have 30,000 people that are dependent on our ability to sell this ammunition to someone. Now it's a good market. Whatever we produce, we can sell it. But when we sell it, then we got, but no one mentioned that here, because it didn't fit to their story. We got 2 very strong statements from Russian foreign intelligence against Serbia and myself, because they found some shells on Ukrainian side.
Is that when you halted the exports in June?
That was one of the reasons, because we didn't want to arm up any war infections. But now we have a problem, because we need to sell it to someone, and we'll sell it to whomever we can in order to earn some money, but we'll try to take care and not to see that ammunition in that war zone. But it happens from time to time. I would like to say that, but I promised myself not to do it. Yes, I do my best to keep my word. They asked me to change my narrative, otherwise I would say so. But I'm not going to do it. It means that now let me use this great, even Euronews bureaucratic language. And you can see that I'm still able to learn it. Serbia is very much committed to its EU path and will take it in a very serious and responsible way. All the remarks, all the demands from EU partners, and considering it will change our attitudes and our stances on different issues and will improve our behavior in the future, and we hope that the European Union will notice it. Our country, I'm amazed with the changes that we provided. You, dear Stefan, come to Belgrade. You wouldn't recognize the city, not from your own experience, but not even from the photos you've seen. Each time, let's say, my friend Mario David is coming to Belgrade, he has to realize and to acknowledge that he hasn't seen such a big improvement and changes almost in any other country, not only in our region. According to IMF anticipation, Serbia is going to have the biggest growth rate almost in an entire Europe in the next 4 years. Speaking about protests, I was facing protests since I became the Prime Minister in 2014. Before that, I was Deputy Prime Minister for 2 years. Since then, we had maybe altogether 6 months without protests. But even having in mind all this stuff, we were progressing well with good growth rates. Also, need to tell you one thing. When I became the Prime Minister, public debt, just to see how disciplined we were, public debt to GDP ratio in Serbia was 79%. Now it's 43%, twice less than average European public debt to GDP ratio. Yeah. And for the first time in our history, and the only country in an entire region, we got an investment grade from Fitch, and we are getting it from Standard as well, and I believe within 6 months from Moody's as well. it speaks for itself. And speaking about the report, you see everything about economy and fiscal and financial stability. Great grades, great marks, which is of an utmost importance for the people, for the citizens. And I really mean now, put my jokes aside, I really mean that we need many things to do regarding rule of law. I'm very ready to participate in that process, or at least to be helpful to the government. And I think that Serbia has long legs, and that we can overtake all the front runners of today, and that we can join European Union relatively soon. I have no plans. I have a big dream to finish this expo. Serbia is hosting specialized expo in 2027. Expo for us is not just an exhibition. We're going to gather the biggest number of countries so far. The record number was 117 in Astana in Kazakhstan. And till today, we have already gotten confirmation of 127 countries that might participate in that expo. But we need to do a lot of infrastructural works. We need to prepare ourselves. And this is all about my legacy. For the first time, we had a stable currency for the last 12 years in our entire history. We built more hospitals, more science and technological parks than ever before, more kilometers of highways and motorways and high-speed railways than 60 or 65 years before that. This is my legacy. Very proud of that. Haven't decided yet. Will do my best to be supportive to my colleagues regarding securing the legacy and helping them in that political battle. Have no other plans. There are big issues in front of us. And speaking about protests, I appreciate those protests whenever they are calm and tranquil. And in a political sense, I like it. I have to be very honest and finishing with this. Because all their political numbers are going down, plunging, ours are going up. I'm begging them to keep on protesting, and many thanks for that.